Hello, Sophia.
Good. How are you doing today?
I am well, thank you.
Good.
My name is Binyam.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
How's your day been so far?
I was gonna say there must be something afoot because you're my second Sophia of the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like you don't say. Well, hello again, Sophia.
Hey, it's getting popular.
That's awesome. It's a fantastic mask.
Thank you.
My girls would love it.
I
You
love
like
sparkles.
you like sparkles?
Oh yeah. Gotta keep it fun, right?
So is it the kind of sparkles where you can like do the reverse thing?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, that
So much more fun.
but then you'd be handling it all day, which you're not supposed
it's
to
true.
do.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh.
kind of.
Who of us isn't doing that though, right? I have to like readjust mine all the time, so it's like,
Yeah, right. It's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's just like, what's the point?
I know.
Well, like my second job, I'm a supervisor at Shoppers, and
Okay.
like, so we're asking people to scan their own cards, but we're still accepting cash. We're still touching the items they just put in their card.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
right? There's just certain things where it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've got a friend who works at the Children's Hospital, and so in their cafeteria they have to be like all separate, right?
Yeah.
But then the right shoulder to shoulder again moments later for work. So it's the kind of thing where it's almost like something's lost in translation there
Yeah,
by way of
exactly.
implementation of standards, really, I think, you know. So yeah, it does make you sort of scratch your head and say, help me connect the dots here, because something's missing, right?
Exactly.
So you work 2 jobs.
Yes. So I got cut hours when we put self-checkouts in, so I went and found a second job.
Oh, I see. Was that at the Shoppers?
Yeah.
Even as a supervisor.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. They put self-checkouts in, and then they kind of started gradually cutting hours back. And then, like, I'm not sure why we weren't hiring, because we were getting lots of applications, but it got down to a point where we only had, like, 3 supervisors. So we kind of forcibly made one of the cashiers a supervisor, but he does more merchandising anyways. And then we only have 1 cashier now, and she's in once a week for 4 hours. So it's crazy.
Once a week for 4 hours.
Yeah, so not only are you the supervisor, but you're the cashier, and you're watching the self-checkouts, and they're asking you to do a lot, and they're spreading you really thin. So, yeah. I mean, I had a job interview last week, so I got it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hopefully resign in the next couple of weeks, but it's been interesting with that company last 5 years.
It's a tough thing, especially because, well, I think this is the part of business that I don't resonate very well with.
Yeah.
So remember, I once used to work at a grocery store, and at one point they were trying to, get me into their managerial program for the store. And I think I've just seen enough of the business to say, I love working here, I love interacting with people, but the kind of calls I'm going to have to make as a manager, or that I'm expected to make, I don't quite resonate with, and I'm not on the same page here. And you'll lose money as a business because I'm your manager, because I don't know, it just seems like somewhat amiss to say we're going to be more concerned about the health of an entity that isn't living.
Yeah.
At the expense of real life people who are trying to make it work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tough one. Now, since then, I do understand the necessity for a business to be healthy so it can actually serve those that are working at it. But that's the part I don't think that's happening today, is that element where, yes, a business can be profitable, but they'll continue to like pursue profits at the expense of those who are, sweating at the front lines, really. That's the part I don't like.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. It's just, I understand the needs of the business, and I understand that the managers get so many hours handed down to them from head office. However, when you're aware that you've given full-time benefits and hours to people who have a spouse who also work and have dual income, right? Like it's hard, because obviously you want the best for your coworkers, but when you are being spread so thin because you don't have those benefits or those hours, it's hard not to be a little bit better.
Absolutely. to push back on it though, because yeah, I like thinking of it practically. So happiness is the best. Well, I love the sound because most people are trying to find happiness. Where am I the most happiest? In the dating world, people are like, hey, does this person make me happy? I guess the reason I want to push back on it just a wee bit, and feel free to push back by the way, I love this, is because I think happiness is amongst many other emotions that are also just as valid, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it plays its part. But happiness is one of the good feeling ones. It's like, oh, and that's why we want more of it, right? Who wants to like feel sadness? Who wants to feel depressed? Who wants to feel angry? All those other ones that are not as fun, you know? And so I was thinking about maybe like contentment.
Yes.
Contentment is what we're
Because
aiming
you can't
for.
always be happy all
That's
the
right,
time. And
yeah.
so kind of like riding that up
Right,
and down.
right. I know like a lot of my followers would say to me, how are you always so positive? And I'm like, actually, I don't think I'm always positive. So let me look for opportunities to share with you when I'm not positive, just because that gives a better picture of reality for me, and that life isn't always lived at this high level here, right? There are ups and downs, and that's legitimate, I think. And so, contention is probably one I resonate a lot more with, you know, by way of saying, this accounts for everything, including the good times. But it gives that sense of purpose, I think, too, right? That sense of conviction that says, there's a reason why we're doing this, we're following through on this, and so. Yeah.
And I ended up, so I was in physical literacy my first 2 years in university, and I switched over into sport management.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of it was physiotherapy. It's basically Mount Royal's kinesiology equivalent.
Okay.
And I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
But, you know, I kind of realized that it was like, well, who am I going to be working with? Because if we're going to be working with people, you need to like the people you're working with.
So true.
Right? And it's not that I
So true.
don't like younger people or people my age,
Yeah.
or, you know, the middle age. It's just, I find it easier for me to work with seniors. And I've been told many times by like teachers growing up, and even my mom, she's like, you're an old soul. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. It just works out that way.
I've often noticed a couple of dynamics. There's people who are ambivalent about their jobs. They're like, it's just a job.
Yeah.
But they love the people they work with, which makes their ambivalence response actually a really enthusiastic one, where they're like, I can't wait to get to work. This is amazing, right? Then there's those who absolutely are passionate about their jobs, but they can't stand the people they work with, which transforms that work context into a hell, right? They're like, I hate work because I have to deal with